the story, oops, wrong way. The story that we're going to hear comes from this island, which is one of the countries in Europe. It's not this little one over here, that's Ireland. It's this big one here is England. And it's written by a lady whose name is Eleanor Farjeon. And it's a story about a little girl. Her name was young Kate. She didn't have her mom and dad anymore. So even though she was a little girl, she had to get a job. And she got a job in a lady's house, and the lady's name was Miss Daw. Miss Daw's house was a tall, skinny house, and it had an attic upstairs in the very top. And young Kate's job was, she was a servant, so her job was to do a lot of cleaning work. And one day, Kate got sent up into the attic. Do you know what an attic is? Nobody knows what an attic is? It's the room at the very top of a house, and usually people don't live in the attic. They usually just keep things up there, like, I don't know, blankets and Christmas ornaments and things they don't use all the time. It's like kind of like a closet when people.
I know what an attic is, but I just muted myself because I already knew what one was.
Yeah,
I was trying to unmute myself
so that you could tell us what an attic is.
Yeah.
Brian and Sophia, can you relax in your chairs? Stop fussing, please. Just make your body calm, and you need listening ears now. Okay. So she got sent up, young Kate got sent up into the attic, and she was supposed to be cleaning the windows. And while she was cleaning the windows, she looked outside and she saw this big green meadow, beautiful bright green grass. It was very big and it had flowers in it. And when her work was done, she went downstairs to Miss Daw and she said, Miss Daw, could I go out and play in the meadow? And Miss Daw said, no, you may not. You must not ever go into the meadow. And she said, well, why not? And Miss Daw said, because you might just meet the green woman if you go into the meadow. Now shut the gate and get finished with your sewing. Okay, so the next week, young Kate went up and she was cleaning the window on the other side of the attic. And when she looked outside, she saw a river that was going through a valley. And when her work was done, she went downstairs and she asked Miss Daw, Miss Daw, can I go out and play by the river? And Miss Daw answered her and said, oh, no, you may not. You must never go by the river. And she said, well, why not? Why can't I go play by the river? And she says, because if you go by the river, you might just meet the River King. Now shut the door and polish the silverware. And so the next week she went upstairs and she looked out another window while she was cleaning it. And out that window, she saw a hill with a big forest that was going all up the hill. And when the work was done, she went downstairs to Miss Daw and she said, all the work is done. Could I go and play up in the woods? And Miss Daw answered her and she says, no, you may not. You may never go and play in those woods. And she said, Miss Daw, why not? All the work is done. And she said, if you go into the woods, you might just meet the dancing boy. So just go about your business, close the blinds, and get those potatoes peeled. And so she went to work. And Miss Daw never sent her up into the attic anymore to clean the windows. And 6 years went by, 6 years went by. And Miss Daw got old. She got to the end of her life and she died. And that meant that young Kate needed to find another job. Well, she found another job, but it was on the other side of town over the hill. And she didn't have any money to get a ride there. She couldn't get a train or a bus to take her to the other side of town. So she had to go walking that long way on the other side of the hill. And while she was walking, she didn't walk on the road. She went walking in the meadow. And when she went walking in the meadow, do you know who she met?
Green lady.
The green woman. And the green woman said, well, hello, young Kate. What are you doing here? And she said, well, I'm on my way to my new job on the other side of the town. I'm going over the hill. And the green woman said, well, if you wanted to get there quickly, you should have taken the road, because I don't let anybody pass through my meadow who doesn't stop to plant a flower. And young Kate said, oh, I would love to plant a flower. So she was given a little shovel, and she put a hole in the ground and she planted a daisy. And then the green woman said, well done. Now I would like to tell you what's going to happen for the rest of your life. Every time you plant one flower, you are going to get 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And she told her, go on out and pick some flowers. So Kate went and she got herself a big, big handful of beautiful flowers. And the green woman gave her a kiss, and Kate went on her way. But she did not go on the road. Next, she went down in the valley where the river was. And who do you think she met when she went down in the valley?
The king.
The River King. He was there in the reeds and all the tall grasses by the edge of the river. And he said, where are you going, young Kate? And she explained to the town on the other side. And he said, well, if you wanted to get there quick, you should have gone by the road, because I don't let anybody go through this, my river place, who doesn't stop to give me a song. And she said, oh, I'd love to sing a song. And she did. And then when she was done, he sang her many, many songs, all the songs that he knew. And she had never heard singing before, so she was so happy. She just sat back and she enjoyed all the songs that the River King gave her. And then he gave her a kiss and said that from now on in your life, every time you sing one song, you are going to hear 50 more. Do it with me. 10, 20, 40, 50. And so she took that kiss and she went walking away towards the other side of the town. But she didn't go on the road. Where do you think she went this time? Up the hill and into the woods. And who did she meet when she went up in the woods?
The singing boy.
The dancing boy. And the dancing boy said, well, hello, young Kate. Where are you going? And she explained what she was doing. And he said, well, you know, if you wanted to get there quick, if you wanted to get there before morning, you should have stayed on the road, because I don't let anybody come through the woods who doesn't dance for me. And she said, oh, I would love to. And she never had done it before, but she tried. She gave him a spin, and she gave him a twirl, and she gave him a curtsy and a hop, and he clapped for her. And then he said, well, now it's time for you to watch me. And he danced and danced and danced. He danced until the moon came up, and he danced until it was morning and the moon went down. And then he told her, well, now, every time for the rest of your life, when you dance one dance, you will enjoy 50. Let's count them. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And he gave her a kiss, and she went on her way. And she got to the other side of town, and she started with her new lady. Her new lady's name was Miss Drew. And Miss Drew never let her go to the meadow. She never let her go to the river, and she never let her go into the woods. But finally, young Kate grew up, and she got married, and she had some children of her own, and she had a little servant girl too. And when the day's work was done, Kate would open up the door, and she would tell the children, her children and the servant girl too, time to run along now, go play, go out into the meadow, and go down to the river, and go up into the woods. And if you're lucky, you just might meet the green woman and the river king and the dancing boy, and they would go out to play. And then when they would come home, every night they would be singing and they would be dancing, and their arms would be full of fresh flowers. And that's the end of the story of young Kate. T-H-E-E-N-D. So let's see. Do you remember what happened in that story? Do you remember who she met when she went into the green meadow?
The green lady.
The green woman, that's right. Now, if you know the answer to the next question, put your hand up. Who did she meet when she went down into the valley by the river? Put your hand up if you know the answer. Let's see. Alok thinks he knows. What do you think is the answer, Alok? Who did she meet by the river?
The River King.
River King, that's right. And when she went up the hill into the woods, who did she meet up there? Put your hand up if you know the answer. Okay, Jasmine thinks she knows. What's the answer, Jasmine?
Nancy boy.
The dancing boy is right. And that's what her life was like when she was a girl. She didn't get to go into the meadow and into the river and into the woods. And when she grew up, were her kids allowed to go to those places?
Yeah.
Yes, they were, because she learned her lesson. She missed it when she was a kid, so she made sure that her kids could go and have fun there.